Hello everybody, David Pintaric with Pintaric and Associates. I want to talk about some concepts about money. One of the things we've noticed over the years, and this goes back to the early 80s when I first started in the business, is that there's a lot of misconceptions about money and math. And I don't want to be disrespectful. When you don't think about this stuff, you don't know this stuff. It's reasonable. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about medicine or health or food or something like that because I don't follow those things. But when it comes to money, you look at little things and you find out people don't know stuff. So I'm going to use two examples to illustrate that. First thing is one I've done is I'm going to offer somebody a job and I'm going to pay them for 35 days. I want them to work for 35 days for me. And I'm going to give you an option of how you want to get paid. The first option is I'm going to pay $1,000 a day. So if you do the math, it's very simple. I'm going to get $35,000. 35 times 1,000 is $35,000. Easy peasy. Second one is I'm going to pay you a penny that first day. And every day afterwards, I'm going to double it. Now, at first blush, most people would say, I'm going to take the first. I'm going to take that easy $35,000. And they'd be wrong. Significantly wrong. If you double that penny for 35 times, it grows to $171 million. Which one would you rather have? 171 million or 35,000? So that's an illustrative common misconception. People would take the easy way out, not looking at it a little further and finding out it's a huge difference. The second one I want to bring up is, would you borrow money at 18% and invest it at 8%? Now again, I'm setting you up, you probably know the answer, but most people, if they weren't set up, they say no. And my response to that is, if I could show you it's to your benefit, would you consider it? Who's going to say no to that? So let's throw out this consideration here. And this is something we did in the early 80s. It was really more timely because back then the interest rates on mortgages were much higher than they are today. But take an 18% mortgage for 30 years fixed, $100,000 principal. The monthly principal and interest on $100,000 for 360 months is $1,507 a month. That's not including real estate taxes or insurance. It's just principal and interest. Over a period of time, you would pay both principal and interest over that 360 months, 30 years, $542,000. So $442,000 would be interest. And most people would say, I'd rather not do that. And I agree. But if you took that same $100,000 and invested it in a hypothetical 8% over that period of time, again, 360 months, 30 years, $100,000 over 30 years at 8%, it'll have a profit of $831,000. The $100,000 will grow to $931,000. So 8% gives you $931,000. Paying 18%, you pay 542%. You have a profit about 50%. Why is this the case? Well, you're talking about two different types of interests. On the mortgage, you're talking about simple interest. And if you realize how mortgages work, you're only paying 18% interest on that first monthly payment. Because every payment you make has some principal and some interest. At the beginning, it's pretty interest heavy, so it's reduced. The principal is reduced very, very, very little. But realistically, you have to understand that that $1,507 represents interest and principal on only $100,000. And every time you pay another payment, your $100,000 is reduced. So that's one factor. On the other side, the 8%, that's compounding interest, where it's growing. So the first year, if you grow by 8%, the second year starting with $108,000, and you're getting 8% on 108, not $100,000. Turns out about the 22nd or 23rd year in this example is the crossover where it's more profitable at 8% than 18%. Now, I would never suggest borrowing at 18%. And you don't have to. An example, now we've got historically low interest rates on mortgages today, on all types of mortgages. Even at 3.5%. Now, we're talking about 18% versus 3.5%. That principal and interest goes from $1,507 to $449. And I think you can get under 3% right now on a 30-year fixed mortgage. But it's just an example of most people would say, I'd rather have the money in I wouldn't pay the 18 than invest at 8. And I agree you wouldn't, but it's an example of the extreme that proves the point. So these are two examples for you to consider that stuff that looks obvious at first isn't always entirely true when you dig down into the details. My whole approach to this is to get you to think. The more you think about your money, the more you're going to understand what we're trying to accomplish. And that makes you better off. Thank you, and I hope this is beneficial to you.